Good morning, everyone, and welcome into the Wake and Take. It's your boy, Jason, and I've got a special episode lined up for you today. We're trying again. We're trying again on an Underdog Best Ball draft. I'm about to enter the Puppy 2, and it's going to be great because I am from the future, and I know that I'm about to draft the winning lineup of the Puppy 2, winning thousands of dollars. So why don't we go ahead and jump right on into it? So first things first, right? I'm just going to have to go ahead and sign us up. So we're going to do this like last time. I'm going to enter the draft. I am entered. We're doing the Puppy 2 for $5. And there's some, of course, interesting rules that we need to know about all of these things. Let me go ahead and get my screen shared for you guys while we wait for it to populate. And boom, this is us. We are in. Looks like we're going to start here in a minute. So we're going to treat this video like last video. If you'll remember, I just did some editing, of course, skip forward to my picks after the first few rounds, when it starts getting slow and dragged on. So it's going to be a shorter, best ball draft video than what is normally out there on the YouTube, but it's going to be great. So I'll see you guys back when the draft starts. All right, we are in, and it looks like I've got the #1 pick. That's an easy decision. I get to just, what? No, what? It gave me Justin Jefferson. I picked Jamar Chase. No! Oh, we're already off to a terrible start. What is that about? I picked Justin Jefferson. I wanted Jamar Chase. That's who I wanted, but it's okay. It's okay. I actually have no Justin Jefferson exposure at all, so this will just be my team, right? I wanted a wide receiver in the first round. If you guys remember from the last time I did this, I went way too running back heavy. It was my first just best ball draft in general. Didn't really look at the rules and all that. Just kind of went in trying to get the best player available at each pick. So we're not doing that this time. This time we're actually paying attention. There's, of course, 3 wide receivers on this and only 2 running backs. So wide receiver, definitely more important. I'm, of course, not upset I got Justin Jefferson. I'm not upset, but I do prefer Jamar Chase. It is what it is. Like I said, though, I'm getting the winning lineup in this draft, so stay tuned. Keep sticking with me. It's going to be fantastic. Important things to note. First off, this lineup that I'm drafting right now is going to win $150,000 because it is the winner. I already mentioned the 3 wide receivers. It's only 1 quarterback, of course, and then it's just, the standard stuff that's half PPR, 6 points for rushing and receiving touchdowns, and only 4 for a passing touchdown. So the quarterback's less important, because there's only 1 of them, and the 4-point passing touchdowns kind of adds an advantage to the mobile quarterbacks. But we're going to call things back to my very first draft, the one we did a few weeks ago. And if you'll remember, I said I really think that Justin Herbert is the greatest value here. In these kinds of drafts, he falls really far, and he should kind of be in that upper echelon of quarterbacks, but he's not. But he's simply not. So that's what we're going to go for. This is going to be the lineup where I get Justin. There we go. There we go. Can you guys see that? I'm going to zoom out a tiny bit. I'm going to zoom out to like a good, let's do 75%. How does that look? That looks good. Okay, so we're back in. It's zoomed out. It's almost my pick. Let's check out some of these picks. So Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill. Of course, we talked about the wide receivers being worth a little bit more since there are 3 of them, so it does make sense that someone reached there for Tyreek Hill. Bijan and Christian McCaffrey then going before Cooper Kupp. Makes a little bit of sense. I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking back and being like, Cooper Kupp should have been in the top 3 again, but, he's still the 4th wide receiver, so you can't complain too much. I do love some Amon-Ra. I love that he's slipping to the 2nd round. He's the wide receiver I am definitely targeting if I'm at the end of the 1st. I do like him more than Garrett Wilson, at least. I like him more than A.J. Brown. Probably like him more than Stephon Diggs. CeeDee Lamb is probably the argument there. But anyway, I am up. I have 45 seconds here. Let's go ahead. I didn't get Jamar Chase. Screw it. Give me T. Higgins. I don't have really any T. Higgins exposure either, so this is definitely getting really interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and reach here. I'm feeling good about Breece Hall. This is a weird team. This is some interesting stuff we're doing here. But again, Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen's definitely the pick there. But again, I want to go for Justin Herbert here in a few rounds. That's what I'm targeting. If that doesn't happen, then this entire draft will have been wasted. But that's okay. It's only $5. We're trying to have some fun here. And we're trying to win 150K. You've got to be unique here. So Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Breece Hall is my start. I'm not the biggest T. Higgins fan. I'm really, really not. But I do like the value there. It's good enough. And again, I wanted Jamar Chase, so I guess I'm just going to have to settle for the other Bengals wide receiver. And it'll be okay. It'll be totally fine. So after my picks, we had Calvin Ridley, Jalen Hurts, Ramondre, and Josh Allen go. Makes sense. Calvin Ridley going pretty high. I still don't necessarily know how I personally feel about it. I do think it makes sense to a certain degree, but man, I don't know. I kind of don't want to take the chance on him personally at that round. I think I'm waiting on Calvin Ridley just because, I mean, like Christian Kirk is going to have some games. I'm sure all the other Jaguars receivers in general are going to have some of their games to where I'm not going to take the most expensive option. I don't really get the point of that. So this whole thing is all about value, and that's what you've got to go for, right? And so let's check this out. We've still got plenty of time before Justin Herbert's even on the ADP area. So we'll probably get another running back and something else with my next pick. And then hope Justin Herbert comes around for round 5. Round 5, end of round 5 is hopefully when I can get myself some Justin Herbert. If I don't get him, then, you know, it'll be fine. I'll probably just get a slew of quarterbacks that, you know, can kind of offset each other, hoping that one will hit one week, one will hit the other week, and that'll be okay. That's fine. That is fine. Or I guess it's actually not the end of the 5th. The end of the 6th is what I'm hoping for. So that might be a little bit of a reach. Let's see. Let's check back into this draft board. Let's just see how things are going. So I'm going to have, of course, the back-to-back 4-5 and then the end of the 6th. I don't know if Justin Herbert's going to fall there. I feel like the 1-1 is kind of a tough spot to eye Justin Herbert. We'll see. We'll see. Let's just take it pick by pick. You know, when we start to see like the Joe Burrow pick happen is when I'll get a little bit antsy. This is tough. I don't think I'm going to get Justin Herbert. I don't think I will. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll address quarterback later. We'll just have to address quarterback later. You only need to get one of them. So if I can get like 2 or 3 middle tier ones, maybe with some higher upside, I think that'd be fine. Like a Daniel Jones could be interesting. You know, you still get the Konami code with him, and we'll see what happens. I'm picking here in 9 picks. So we'll see. DeAndre Hopkins without a team is getting picked before Deebo Samuel. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. You know, your DeAndre Hopkins is still one of the more talented wide receivers in the league, but I mean, so is Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is one of those guys I really like. We do have Dynasty Week coming up. We had some flag plants. Deebo Samuel is one of mine. I do believe he's one of the best football players in the league, plain and simple. You know, he does have the health concerns. He has the volume concerns, but when he gets that ball in his hands, any play could be a touchdown, and that's what makes you a really great football player. And that's why I love Deebo Samuel, because genuinely, he's amazing. He really, really is. So anyway, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jerry Jeudy, makes sense. I'm excited to kind of see how things play out. It's slowing down a bit, which is frustrating. You know, I wish this was a little bit, I thought it was like 30-second picks, but we'll take the 55 seconds, it looks like. Who's going to fall to me? Let's see. Let's go ahead and look ahead. So, I mean, one of these quarterbacks, yeah, again, is going to be like, hey, you should take your quarterback here. I'm not gonna. It looks like I might have to, though. I might have to. If Justin Herbert's my plan, I might have to reach because, yeah, I'm just going to have to reach. I'm going to do it here at the 5-1 or the 4-12. It doesn't really matter what the order is, but I'm going to do it. I think I'm eyeing Hawkinson Herbert here. I think that's what I'm going to go for, leaving Fields and Burrow on the board, going crazy. Burrow went, Fields is here. I don't care. Give me Justin Herbert. And yeah, maybe I already do have Justin Jefferson, but I don't care. I want the Hawk. There we go. So we have all of our positions basically almost rounded out already. We're looking good. I just need one more running back, one more wide receiver. I've got my quarterback and my tight end. So I think we're killing it. I really do. When it comes back to me, I think it's time to get some value, right? When it comes back, I mean, I'll be getting, the Rashad White, Isaiah Pacheco tier, which I love of running backs. That might be even later. We'll see. We'll see, right? The 1-1 is tough. You have to wait so long before picks come in. You can't even look too far ahead. And we'll probably have even more editing because of that. Because, I mean, shoot, what are we going to do? Wait 24 picks? Wait 24 picks to do what? So anyway, let me pull this board back up. We'll talk a little bit about what's been happening since my pick. Aaron Jones, DJ Moore. Interesting. I host the Trade Gods with my man Matty Kiwoom. He loves himself some DJ Moore. I think that is a good pick here with the talent. I do think Joe Mixon is, of course, a massive value. He's going to be playing football next year. He's going to be the starting running back for the Bengals. You can't really hope for much more. And so his ADP for sure is massive. I am almost upset I didn't just get him over Hawkinson and have him and Higgins. I think that would have been really, really good. But that's okay because, maybe we'll be fine. We'll be fine is what I'm trying to say. There's some other running backs that we can get later. Justin Fields finally going after a slew of wide receivers, Ayuk and Christian Kirk and DJ Moore. That is a fun tier right there. Chris Godwin probably slipping a little bit. He could have gone a little bit earlier. These Buccaneers wide receivers, you've probably seen my Buccaneers wide receiver video. All of them right now are value him and Mike Evans. They're both extremely talented, and just because you have a bad quarterback doesn't mean you're going to be bad for fantasy. You might be bad for real life, but that's not what we are here for. We're here for fantasy football, and bad quarterbacks and bad teams are good for fantasy just because they still get garbage time. They have to pass more because they're playing from behind. These guys are going to get targeted. They're going to get volume, and they're going to be good for fantasy football. So don't be worried about taking your Buccaneers wide receivers. I understand being a little bit concerned about taking one of the quarterbacks. We don't really know which one's going to be starting, but that's okay. So we're still 19 picks away, 12 picks away. 12 picks away. My browser shows 19 up at the top, like my little tab, but when you click back on it, it says 11. So anyway, after that pick, I think is probably when I'll start doing the fancy editing, just skipping ahead, and we'll do some talking and then skip ahead and do some talking and skip ahead. But you guys don't need to hear me ramble in between each pick. That would turn this episode into 45 minutes at least. And that's not what the Wake and Take is. It's a quick, nice little take of some fantasy football stuff to start your day, because who doesn't love fantasy football in the morning? We're finally here in the 6th round. It's coming back around. I see Trevor Lawrence went, which means I definitely would not have gotten Justin Herbert. I'm glad I did the reach there. And this draft has been filled with reaches already. I reached on Breece Hall, reached with Justin Herbert, probably could have punted with TJ Hawkinson and maybe just gotten Gerald Everett later, to go with that stack. But I do definitely want to eye Quentin Johnston when it comes around to, when he's about to go picked. I'll probably get him, have that stack. Mike Williams is already gone. I believe I know Keenan Allen is definitely gone. Yeah, Mike Williams is gone. So we'll see. I'll get some Quentin Johnston here, probably the 8th round. The 8th round is probably when I'll get some Quentin Johnston. And, every single one of these drafts, I love to target Jameson Williams. Guys, if you take anything away from this video, suspensions are great ways to accrue value. Last year, you remember DeAndre Hopkins had the suspension, and he was going towards the end of drafts, sometimes not even drafted. And then he came back and was dominant. And it's the second half of the season that matters most for fantasy football. You can struggle at the beginning and then find your wings. And Jameson Williams is the perfect way to do that. Only 6 games. It's fine. So yeah, just hang on to him. It's really not a big deal. This pick is going to be really tough. I'm a big Pickens guy, so I think that's definitely going to be one of them. And then I'll probably go Pickens went. Okay. All right, so we're doing it. We're reaching here for Quentin Johnston. Go ahead and get my Chargers stack. And then let's do Cam Akers. Quentin Johnson and Cam Akers. That's my Breece Hall, Cam Akers are my running backs. That's fun. This is actually just one of my dynasty teams. I have Breece Hall and Cam Akers as my running back, so that's really funny. But I've got my Quentin Johnson, Justin Herbert stack now. I've got my tight end. And so from this point on, fellas, ladies, people tuning in, we're just going to be going best player available. I'll explain that out a little bit as we get through it. I did want George Pickens there, but that's okay. I do think I'm happy with QJ and Cam Akers. We'll see who falls back. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes when it comes back to me, and we'll talk some more then. Thanks. All right, so we're getting close to my pick now. Welcome back. I do want to talk about just these rounds in general. Go ahead and take this in. Rounds like 6. Jameson Williams. That was my plan. But back on what I was saying, 6 through 8 is I think some of my favorite rounds right now in fantasy football. I mean, look at these players. I won't go name by name until after I make my pick since we're about to, but just take this in for a second. Every single one of these names are important fantasy football players. Every single one of them. So I'm up now. Who is here? All right. I talked about suspensions earlier. Alvin Kamara, I think, is a really good pick here. I do think that he's a value. And I'm going to do this. I think Anthony Richardson is a good quarterback to pair with Justin Herbert. He's got incredible upside, the rushing floor and everything, and he's going to take some time as well. But if he does come on fire at some point in the season, then you've got him there as a little sledgehammer, if you will, a little secret weapon. So I get the suspension value on Alvin Kamara. Hell, the suspension's not even known yet, right? The suspension's not even known. So we can, you think that he will get suspended, right? I think we all expect that. But even then, it's not going to be that long. 6 to 8 games is probably what I'm expecting. And then he'll come right back in and be the pass catching back on this team that is not going to be that good. And so I do think that will work out for me. I do kind of want to address my running backs a little bit more, and I want to address my wide receivers a bit more as well. But of course, I do love this quarterback room. I'm not touching anymore. I've got to just bet on Justin Herbert and then hope that Anthony Richardson does hit his upside. There's not much reason to go for another guy there. There's no more reason at all. But, again, these 6 through 8 rounds, I mean, Alexander Mattison, I think will end up being a value, even if I do believe that he won't completely own the backfield. I do think that some of the other guys will come out. Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, great tight ends in these rounds. Dalvin Cook going after Madison. How funny is that? The Bills wide receiver, Gabe Davis, of course. I mean, in best ball, Gabe Davis is good because obviously you don't have to guess when his big game will come. He'll just have his big game and you'll be happy with it. Jameson Williams being picked right there irks me. That doesn't happen too often. I mean, that's near-ish his ADP, but I definitely did expect him to be there at that 8-1. But that's smart. Whoever made this pick, Zabs, he's pretty smart. That's a really good pick. I don't care about suspensions. I really don't. They will pick up the pace later in the season when they return. I can figure it out for 6 weeks, but you just can't get that value anywhere else. So, yeah. The suspended players in general is a great way to accrue some value. Daniel Jones going here in the 9th round. And this is good, right? Tua, Daniel Jones. It is pretty interesting. I think that Anthony Richardson goes before them. But that was kind of just my build thing. Obviously, if I needed my quarterback, I probably would have gone Tua or Daniel Jones. But I just like getting that swing there with Anthony Richardson. I'll see you guys in a few minutes when it comes back to me. All right, again, looks like I'm going to pick soon, so let's go ahead and review this board. Some players that I, wish would have fallen to me. Definitely Antonio Gibson is one. He's fantastic. I do think that he's going to take a step forward with the new offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. Brian Robinson going right after him makes a ton of sense. They might as well be equal value in redraft leagues. I do, of course, would rather have Antonio Gibson due to the athleticism, but I do think that Brian Robinson will get the 20 carries a game like he did last year. Maybe not do too much with it, get the 50 yards or so and maybe a touchdown, but that's okay in these rounds. Not really a fan of any of these other players. Let's go ahead and see who's available for me. Devon Achane is an easy pick here, especially in best ball formats. I love him. I really do. The landing spot is fantastic. And screw it. I wanted Jamar Chase. I did. But oh well. I'm just going to have to settle for Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. And maybe if I, instead of, who was it? Who did I pick? TJ Hawkinson. Maybe I probably should have, instead of TJ Hawkinson, went for Joe Mixon. I think I am kicking myself there because I do love a lot of these tight ends. Chig, of course. And then you could just go back down. I mean, like, imagine if I had just taken Irv Smith and Gerald Everett, just double tap them at some point. Laporta, I also do think will be pretty decent, but that's okay. You get a top tier tight end here, and I'll probably still take Gerald Everett there at the end just to kind of have a backup tight end just in case. But yeah, let me go back to this draft board, see what picks have come in, and then I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Elijah Mitchell is a good pick. Christian McCaffrey, of course, still has the injury concerns, even if for the most part last season, I think for the entire season, actually, he did stay healthy and produce well. Elijah Mitchell, the same thing, injury concerns, but as a like backup, Kendra Miller would have been a good pick, actually, just to kind of help with my Alvin Kamara. But oh well. But back to Mitchell. Less volume for him means less of a chance of injury, and he still is one of the most explosive running backs in the league. So that's a good pick there. Both the New Orleans running backs, good picks if Alvin Kamara does get suspended, which he probably will. Jamal Williams, still probably a good pick regardless. Kendra Miller, still probably a good pick regardless. Both of them will get some work. It's just Alvin Kamara gets the premier work for sure. For sure. Jared Goff, great quarterback value here at this round. I do basically think that him and Geno Smith should be valued the same. And this is almost an entire round after, so that's interesting. And, Aaron Rodgers, I would rather have kind of where this Russell Wilson's going. I think you probably should have swapped Aaron Rodgers to Jared Goff. But see you guys in a couple minutes when it comes back to me. All right, we are back. Some players that, I just want to talk about a little bit before we get back into it. Chig did end up going. I do think he's a good value. Of course, one of the most athletic tight ends in the league, looked great last season, especially towards the end of the stretch. And I liked his usage in college too, used in run plays even. So he's athletic, great value, especially if the Titans don't end up getting D-Hop. I do love it. Rashee Rice, good, the cheapest of the Chiefs wide receivers right now. Rondale Moore, I think, will be some value. Jonathan Mingo, I like the fact that he could actually be the alpha. He definitely has more potential than the other wide receivers on the Panthers for that role. And then, of course, just honestly, all these tight ends in this range, Cole Kmet, Dalton Schultz, Greg Dulcich, they're all totally fine. I think I would rather wait and just attach myself to the Irv Smiths or Gerald Everetts of the world, but I'm not upset with any of these picks. They'll definitely at least get their volume and have a couple good games. But if those are my guys, I want another one. So I'm up, and I'm going to shoot for upside here. I'm going to go for, of course, Nico Collins. I love that upside. And then I think just in case – oh, man, yeah, I think just in case, I'm going to go for KJ Osborne. And that's just because, I've got Justin Jefferson. If he goes down, if TJ Hawkinson goes down, or if Jordan Addison goes down, KJ Osborne will have a little bit of a bigger role, of course. And so that'll just kind of help me level this out. I do like these guys, Boyd, Nico Collins, KJ Osborne. When, of course, these other these two, T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson, are pretty much going to be every week. And then we'll just see which one of these three every once in a while. And I'm definitely going to keep going wide receiver. I probably want to get one more running back, maybe like a handcuff or something. Actually, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who falls. But again, I'll see you guys here in a bit when it rolls right on back to me. Oh, so there goes Gerald Everett. I was definitely hoping he would fall back to me. Him, Irv Smith, and Tyler Higbee went, which, is fair. You just kind of get the older dudes on decent offenses at the tight end position. I was definitely hoping Gerald Everett would fall to me. Sam Laporta going hurts as well. I do think he'll be good. An interesting pick I do want to highlight here is Jake Ferguson going before Schoonmaker. I don't agree with that at all. I do know that Schoonmaker was seen in a boot, and Jake Ferguson now is getting the first team reps. But I mean, he's expected to be back before the season even starts, and it's not supposed to be that big of an injury, just kind of some precaution there. So ballsy move to take Jake Ferguson for sure. Ballsy move. But let's see, who can I get here? I'm probably going to go Jawan. I do like what he's cooking up right now in this offseason. They're saying that he's watching Julian Edelman's routes, wants to get in on that action, and knows that Derek Carr likes his tight end. So that's who I'm going to get. And then I think I'm probably going to dig down here. I'm going to go for Hunter Renfrow. I'm a sucker for slot receivers. I really am. So give me Hunter Renfrow. He's one of the better route runners in the league. He's definitely undervalued. So I'll go ahead and take him here. And I've got 3 picks left to kind of round this roster out. Probably, again, just best player available. Tyquan Thornton, Donovan Peoples-Jones, all great picks in this round. Marcus Valdes-Scantling, also a fantastic pick. Any of those guys could just have 2 touchdown weeks, and that's what you're searching for, especially at the end of these kinds of drafts, just guys that could blow up for no reason at all, and especially since the hard part of having to start them on their blow-up weeks is taken out of the equation here. You just take those guys at the end of the draft, and you thank yourself later when they finally have some big weeks. So definitely upset I didn't really get any of those guys. Got lots of floor guys here, which kind of sucks, but 3 more rounds to throw some ceiling into this roster. Let's see who falls. All right, some picks I want to highlight here before it gets back to me. Jerome Ford, Chase Brown, Tyjae Spears, Zeke, Fournette, Chuba, Jeff. I mean, all of these running backs really in this range are fantastic. They're great handcuffs and potential high ceilings. Really all of them. Leonard Fournette, I do believe, is the most valuable free agent running back, not named Dalvin Cook right now. I do believe that he'll end up going somewhere on a discount and being fantasy relevant just because of his skill set. Let's see who I can get here. This is tough. Going is getting tough. I'm going to take myself some Khalil Shakir. I think it'll be nice to attach myself to the Buffalo Bills because why not, right? And then, yeesh. Yeah, let's just, since I've got, the Justin Herbert bill, let's just throw Josh Palmer into this lineup. I don't know, right? I mean, this is a tough range. And then we're going to hope, I don't really want to take a chance on any more tight ends. I've already got 2, right? Or else I probably would have taken like a Trey McBride here. I do think that's a good pick. But I think I'm going to hope that on my final pick of this draft that Dwayne McBride is there for me. Let's go ahead and take one more look at my roster real quick. Justin Herbert, Anthony Richardson. So I need another running back here for sure. I've got a ton of wide receivers. I need myself another running back, especially with Alvin Kamara facing suspension, Breece Hall and Cam Akers both being injured guys, Devon Achane being a guy that probably could get injured given his stature. So I've got a rough running back room. It's kind of funny. The last draft I did had a really good running back room. Now I have a pretty rough one and a bunch of wide receivers. But these guys look great. Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Quentin Johnston, Boyd, Collins, Osborne, Renfrow, Shakir, Joshua Palmer. That's fantastic. And I like the tight end room, too, of Hawk and Johnson. So I'm taking best running back. That falls to me here when it comes back. Round 18. Dwayne McBride, of course, just went. So that's not going to be the running back I get. That sucks. That's a good pick. That's a good pick from Jay Kovac. So let me go ahead before I sign off and see you guys here in a few minutes. Let me just go ahead and press this button so we see which running backs could fall. And, yeah, let's see who falls to me when we get back. All right, so we're in the 18th round now. I want to highlight some players, and then we're going to talk through this running back situation with me. Tight end. All right, and I mean, all of these players, right, these are just dart throws. Right, I mean, the quarterbacks, I think C.J. Stroud could be good. I love Desmond Ridder. I think that's good value. If I want another quarterback here, this is definitely a great range to just take your shot on someone. Mac Jones is an incredible value. But let's go ahead and look at these running backs right now because it's tough sledding for sure. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm not going to touch. He's had his chance to prove it, and unfortunately, he just kind of sucks. If he does turn it around, this will be the best value in fantasy football. Clyde Edwards-Helaire going undrafted pretty much across the board. I'm looking at my lineup. Of course, Zach Evans does lend some, I guess, and it's tempting given I have Cam Akers, Michael Carter, tempting since I have Breece Hall. But I'm almost thinking I want to take a chance on someone else. I want to draft as if Breece Hall and Cam Akers are finishing the season because I don't see the point in hedging my bet. So I look at Joshua Kelly and Keontae Ingram. I think Austin Eckler, of course, has injury concerns, and James Conner has some injury concerns. So those are the two I'm going to decide between. Zamir White's a good one, too, given Josh Jacobs still hasn't. Honestly, all 4 of these, right, with Abanikanda and Breece Hall, too. All the ones I've named are good. Zamir White, good, because Josh Jacobs hasn't signed his franchise tag, older as well. But I think I'm going to go Joshua Kelly, round out just getting my Chargers build and taking that guy. What do you mean it's not my turn to draft? What do you mean? What do you mean? What? Let's try this again. Joshua Kelly. What's going on? Why is this draft being so bad to me today? What do you mean it's not my turn to draft? I want Joshua Kelly. Give me Joshua Kelly. What's going on here? What's going on? What's going on? Drafts? Oh, geez. Let's try this again. Active. Oh, geez. Oh, no. That sucks. That really sucks. That's ridiculous. Well, I don't even know how it ended. It doesn't even let me, it doesn't even show it because this is, wait, Puppy 2? I did another Puppy team. Sorry, guys, you didn't get to see that one. This was it, though. The other one I drafted. I think this one's pretty good, too, just real quick. This one might be winning some money, too. I think this is a great lineup. But this is the one I just drafted. Let's see. Oh, they gave me Joshua Kelly. We are all Good. Let me go ahead and click into this full draft so we can talk about it just real quick. So this is my team. You know, Joshua Kelly's the guy I got. Banking, you know, just on the Chargers here. I got Joshua Palmer. I got Quentin Johnson. I got Justin Herbert. I got Joshua Kelly. I wanted Gerald Everett, but oh well. Oh well. This is the squad. I'll scroll through one more time so you guys can get a picture of the board. This is how it played out. I want to shout out Zabs for a couple of reaches here. He, of course, reached for Jamison Williams. He reached for Jalen Warren. He reached for a couple other players too, Jake Ferguson. I just respect, you know, the attitude of just reaching for players that you believe in. I really do. Trey McBride, great value at the very end of the draft. We'll see what happens with Ty Chandler. We don't know how this Vikings room is going to shake out. End of story, right? But yeah, so Joshua Kelly is how I ended the draft, adding to my RB room. That is very shaky. Look at those guys. When we look at the wide receivers as well. But that is that. Let's go ahead and get back to the normal look here. And man, that was fun. That was a ton of fun. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you all tomorrow for a regular old live episode of The Wake and Take as we kick off some Dynasty Week content, talking about Dynasty players. It's going to be fantastic. Again, thank you all for tuning in. You have a wonderful, fantastic, and I truly mean wonderful, fantastic Monday. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.
Hey, you like that video? Be sure to subscribe and activate those alerts so you get notified as soon as new videos drop. And be sure to check out PlayerProfiler.com. We have all the tools for you to dominate every type of fantasy league. We have a draft kit, Dynasty Deluxe, data analysis, DFS Dominator, and don't forget the player rankings to rule them all.